Well, welcome back. So we're sitting outside on this beautiful night, and my girlfriend, who recently got an Apple Watch, had to change her ecosystem over from Android to iOS, of course, to have the Apple Watch. And so far it's been good. There's an app that actually seamlessly transfers everything over for apps that are on developed by the same developer on multiple platforms. It worked really good. Her contacts, everything came over. She's been happy so far, except she ran into a little issue tonight. She said, "How do I get this ringtone on my phone?" Well, thinking back, you used to have to plug it into a computer, rename a file, possibly even change the format, re-encode it, cut it, edit, splice it, dice it, and then transfer it through iTunes to the phone just to get a custom ringtone without having to pay for a ringtone of music that you already bought and owned, right? You gotta think there's gotta be a better way to do this. So there is. Now what I'm going to show you may be slightly different. I'm on an iPhone 8 Plus. An iPhone 7 Plus will be about the same. An iPhone 6S, I noticed, is slightly different. First thing we want to do is we have to remember the maximum length for a ringtone is 30 seconds. So I went through multiple apps until I found one that worked. This particular guy here, he actually worked pretty good. He actually did a really good job. I was impressed. The other apps tried to download songs that were in the cloud and they hung. So this one only looks at songs that are already downloaded onto your phone. Any song that you want to make into a ringtone, you have to bring it out of the cloud and locally store it onto your phone first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tap the middle to select the song first. Usually it will prompt you and ask you for access to your music library. You give it permission, you say yes. I'm going to go songs. I'm going to look for the song, the one that she was doing, which was Every Breath. There we go. And I'm going to select the song. Now, you can see it's already set up for 30 seconds. You could make it shorter if you have something smaller sound file that you want more to repeat, like what's your average ring? 5 seconds. So if you want to actually play a sound 5 seconds, five of those sounds in a row as it fills each ring. You could do that too, or you could just make it a whole 30 seconds. I really like this app because you get really narrowed down, not just the preset 30, 20, 10 seconds, but you can also go through the app itself and at the same time, let me see here, for example, I know this is the beginning where I want my song to start, so I'm going to put this over here and I'm going to drag this guy down bottom at this bar here at the beginning right there. And I also know that I want it to end. Do I have to use 2 fingers? Wait, let's make it 30 seconds again. There we go. So we'll drag this over for 30 seconds. We'll line this up right at the beginning. You can tell where the amplitude is very low. This would be a full 30 seconds. This would cut the song I'm looking for off in the middle of a chorus. The chorus ends where I want it, is right here, 25 seconds in. I've already clocked it. If you look at the very top here, underneath where it says Ringtone Maker and it says Every Breath You Take, you will see a counter. And this is the gray section of how long the song you're selecting. So I want to go up to 25 seconds. Right about here will give me the perfect length of the song. And I can choose to fade it out or even fade it in if I want to. At this point, tap the little check mark. And if you already had the song properly labeled, it will take the label of that song and say, would you like to save your ringtone called this? Sure. Click save. Okay, succeeded. Then it asks you if you want to do a review for the app. Yeah, sure, whatever. Alright. Now the little bell down in the bottom right hand corner, That little bell is going to show you all the ringtones that you've made with this app. You tap the ringtone you want. Again, at the very bottom on the right, there's that little share icon. Tap that little share icon, and I'm going to share this to my iCloud drive. I've already created a folder called Ringtones, and I'm going to add this to my ringtone folder. This, you gotta ignore it. For some reason, this app is exporting two text messages, an icon. I know what it's doing. It's meant for an email export. It's basically the title, the body, the icon, and the link. So, when you send a ringtone to a friend, they can click the link to this icon and, go buy this app or download this app also as well. So basically you end up with 4 items, 4 files, like it says at the top here, 4 items. We're only going to keep one. So whether you do replace or keep both, it doesn't matter. Now we're done with this. The next step you will need is GarageBand. GarageBand comes free with most phones after our, I believe, iPhone 5 or 5S. Don't quote me on that. If you don't have it, download it. If you do a lot of your own ringtones a lot, keep it on there if you have the space. If you don't, delete it afterwards. It is quite a large file. I think it's 2.1 gig install. And I'm going to click this little plus in the beginning, first launching. You'll have to, accept, continue kind of thing, little introductory screens. Then you click the little plus, and we're going to make a new song. Audio recorder is good. It's got other options for future expansibility if you're really into making music, but I'm just going to use audio. Over here, top left, 3 buttons from the left. You got the little triangle pointing down, and then on the second button and the third button right before what looks like a mixer board or EQ adjustments. So we want to click that one right there. It turns into a little microphone. And on the right, next to the wrench for settings, there's this little loop. And we're going to click that little loop. And what we're going to see here, I want to delete these because these were from previous samples, is the option under audio files to import from iCloud. So now we can just take that clip I just did. I'm going to just expand this out so I can find it better. Go into my files, go into my ringtones, and there it is, Every Breath You Take. Now there's that text file I was telling you about as part of his email. There's that icon. You can delete those in your iCloud later, not a big deal. We're going to select Every Breath You Take, give it a second, it will import this. It's copying this from the iCloud to a local GarageBand folder on your phone. Now we can pick this up and literally just drag this over into that same track with that microphone there. There you go. Now, what I noticed is I'm only at 8 bars. So that means it just cut my song down to 17 seconds. So I'm going to tap this twice and delete this. We need to open this up. There's 2 ways to do this. We can do automatic, where it tries to auto-sense the length of the song and how many bars it needs. This only works on the iPhone 7 Plus and the 8 Plus or iPhone 7 and 8. iPhone 6 doesn't do this. iPhone 6, you can just adjust the bars minimum down to 40. 40 is long enough to handle a 30-second song. Actually, it's more than long enough to handle a 30-second song, so you're okay. 30-second song is about 20 bars. That's what we need. So I'm actually just going to bring mine up to about 22 bars. That should allow me to import the full 25 seconds now. And we're going to run through this one more time. But this time we don't need to bring it in from the iCloud because we've already copied it over. So we're just going to pick it up and drag it over. And you can see there's plenty of room left over here. Yeah, 25 bars left me a lot of room left over. We're perfectly good there. We can take this and export it as a ringtone and call it a day. But we can also go a little further if you want to. I'll show you a couple of the advanced features that are included within GarageBand. Why not? Some of the advanced features, if you click on that little EQ mixer thing here, is different plugins and EQs, master effects, echoes, reverbs. In my case, with the iPhone 8 Plus, my speakers tend to handle a little bit more bass, so I can actually increase my bass a little. And they're 25% louder than the iPhone 7 Plus Plus, so I'm going to bring my treble up. I like my songs a little bit more on the bassier side, though. The first time I did this as a test run, I actually noticed that it was a little overmodulated. So I'm going to double click the audio track here and I'm going to go to settings. I figured it to be about, well, this particular song into a ringtone was about 13 decibels higher than it should have been. So I'm going to actually just bring it down to about 11, maybe 10 decibels. I think 10 will be perfect because we do want it to be loud. It's still a ringtone after all. Now you won't hear it when you play this back, but when you export it to a ringtone, it does knock off that 10 decibel level of what you're looking for. So if you're using an older phone, smaller speakers, you might want to cut it back a little further. If you notice your ringtone is causing your speakers to crack or distort, you might want to cut that gain back a little further. And that's why I point out some of these mediocre advanced features. GarageBand is capable of doing so much more than this. But right for today, this is the basics that will get you through to get a good, clean sounding ringtone without having to hook into a computer. Now, top left, triangle pointing down towards the mic. We're going to tap that button and it's going to bring up my song. Tap on my song, and now I'm going to tap and hold on my song. I'm going to rename it to the name of the song, which was Every Breath You Take. And I can't type today. What else is new? Now, since it's still shaking, I can click the little share icon, top left icon here. And you'll notice something different that you don't see in any other share on the iPhone. I can share this directly to iTunes, or I can share it directly to Ringtone. It shares Ringtone. I don't have any ringtones in there, so it says no exported ringtones currently. It automatically took the name of what I named the file, Every Breath You Take. I hit export. And it says, how do you want to use this? I said, I want to use it as sound. So I'm going to choose the top, use it as sound. Which sound would you like? Sign to contact, select as a text tone, or standard ringtone? Standard ringtone. And believe it or not, that's it. You're done. Now when you go over to your settings, what you will see is under Sounds and Haptics. There it is, right above that dark line, Every Breath You Take. So every time you put a new ringtone in, it's going to be above the dark line, above the default standard installed ones. It's really that simple. Now, something I ran into was, well, what if you play and you find out that's one of those overmodulated songs, or you didn't quite cut it right where you thought you wanted to cut it. In this case, you have to remove it. Cannot seem to get over this cold today. To remove it, again, without plugging into a computer, without needing iTunes, without jailbreaking your phone, we're going to just go through the process as if we were about to export a ringtone. We're going to get one of the two project songs here, Shaken. We're going to click the share button. We're going to find that little ringtone icon. Click ringtone. But instead of clicking export in the top right hand corner, down bottom it says your ringtones in bold. We can go to your ringtones in bold and simply swipe left. And now you've removed it from the settings. There it is. It's gone. you know, I think that's going to be a good ringtone, so I'm going to put that back on. Let's see how that sounds. I don't know if it's going to play properly for you guys though, because I'm doing a screen recording, of course. So I'm going to export it, use the sound, standard ringtone, done. While I'm here, which song is this? Oh, that's pretty much the same song. So I'm going to delete this one. That was a test run that I did earlier. Now there's also another one I like. So let's go over this again. Click plus, new song, microphone. 1, 2, 3 icons from the left top. Converts to a microphone. 2 from the top right, little loop. Grab that loop. Do we need these anymore? No, we don't. I could delete these under the Files app too, by the way, but it's easier to do here. Import from iCloud, and I'm looking for one that I believe I called Ringtones, Ringtone Remix. Here it is. It's going to import it into the GarageBand app. I'm going to take it, pick it up, drag it over. This is only about 17 seconds, so I know we're good. I know the gain is good on this. Maybe would be nicer since the speakers are a little bit better quality on the iPhone 8 to give it a little bit more bass. So I'm going to hit that EQ button and do just that. And I'm going to save it to my songs. I'm going to hold that down until it starts to shake. I'm going to take it, choose the share button, choose ringtone, my song. This is actually Ringtone Mix, and I'm going to export it. Use it as a sound, as a standard ringtone. And that doesn't mean I just lost my other ringtone. It just means I just added to the ringtones. Now I should have 2 ringtones above that dark line there. It really is that easy. So I hope this tip helped, and yeah. And it makes it really simple, and you're using one of Apple's own apps, claiming that they want to be wireless, so we're going to let them be wireless and use their own app, and get rid of the computer, and get rid of iTunes, and we're going to use our own app to actually make ringtones and install it on the phone. By the way, this is on iOS 11. So be safe and keep on tinkering, and I'll see you in the next video.